afternoon, my friends. This is Paul, and today I'm going to be reviewing to you Beeny for the Nintendo Switch. This was done by the same creator that made MacBat 64, Kiwi 64, and the two Tori games, all of which I thought were pretty decent experiences. And I thought that this game would carry on that tradition, especially because on the eShop it said that this was a precursor for Super Kiwi 64. So seeing as Kiwi 64 is my favorite out of those games, I thought, oh, well, this could be potentially interesting. You control a round bee named Beeny, and her only ability is to jump. Thankfully, the creator really nailed the jumping controls, as you feel like you have a tremendous amount of mid-air control, and the creator even took advantage of that, because a lot of the platforms are on top of each other, and you have to maneuver your way in midair so that you go up and around. So all of the levels are vertical scrolling, and your objective is to get the beehive at the end of the level. There's not really too many penalties for failing, you just get sent back down a little bit, but you can never get sent down too far, as about 3 platforms down, some bees will automatically catch you. So the challenge level is insanely low. There's hardly anything that's going to be really taxing, just stuff that's mildly annoying. Now this is meant to be a throwback to the Super Nintendo and to a certain extent the Nintendo 64, but we'll get to that later. The graphics are, I guess, supposed to be reminiscent of Donkey Kong Country. I personally feel like it doesn't really achieve the desired effect, as a lot of the stuff is very simplistic and not animated very much. I also take a lot of issue with the sound design, as when the level has rain in it, the music for some odd reason gets really loud. And then the sound effects are even worse. Most of the time they're okay, but whenever you're in a forest or rainy level, they have this background sound that sounds a lot like frogs and cicadas mixed together, almost as if the creator was recording the audio while doing the laundry and said, oops, I need to edit that out, but didn't know how to, so it ended up being this weird amalgamation of sounds, and it's really jarring, especially because it plays on the map. You would think it would just be environmental sounds. Now, I know that games like Banjo-Kazooie sorta do that with their music, like how that game has a lot of ambient sound effects. But in that game, they actually sound convincing and feel like they're part of the atmosphere, whereas in this game, it just sounds annoying and you wish you could mute your Switch. Now, after you've beaten all of the levels, then you get the opportunity to play as Kiwi, and then the game all of a sudden switches to a 3D collectathon platformer, where, again, all you can do is jump, but you do have full camera control. The problem is that the camera is inverted vertically, and there's no way to adjust that option. In fact, the only option you get in this entire game are picking your save files and choosing the camera sensitivity during that one section. Now, there are golden cogs to collect, but they don't really do anything. They're just there to help you realize, oh, you haven't explored this part of the level, and also to give you an indication of how Kiwi's jump is handled. Your objective is to collect 5 jewels, and then go back to the dog, and then the game ends with a cliffhanger saying, see you in Super Kiwi 64, which I'm pretty excited about. Unfortunately, this Kiwi section is nowhere near as great as Kiwi 64 was, as the level is really ugly with a lot of brown and yellow hues. It's also got a lot of factory boxes, and a lot of times the walls and floor will sometimes disappear if you have the camera at a certain angle. Now, it's not as bad as, say, Super Mario 64's camera, because, you do have a right analog stick on the Switch, but it still feels like it's trying so hard to emulate the style of the Nintendo 64 that they couldn't even get the environments fully optimized so that the camera doesn't make things disappear. So after you beat Kiwi's level, then you get to go back to the main levels, and you get a time trial mode. And these time trial modes are relatively fun. They do make you feel like a platforming master after you complete them, but they also don't penalize you if you fail. The timer just keeps going, and you can pretend like it's just the normal levels, and if you do beat it within the required time, then you get a clapping sound and a medal appears next to the level once you go back to the level select. Plus, you also unlock a brand new level. And after you beat all of the levels in time trial mode, then you get a new character. And from there, I decided I'm done. I don't want to have to put up with this anymore. Personally, I found that Beeny is probably the worst game that this creator has made so far. The sound effects and music are either underwhelming or really annoying. The level design is kind of bland. Like, there's not really a whole lot to differentiate them besides that the platforms get smaller. Sometimes the backgrounds change up, but the music repeats itself too much and is often... The sound effects don't work very well, the hazards hardly do any damage, and the only real challenge comes in once you get to the time trial modes. And then Kiwi's portion just feels like a total letdown compared to how amazing Kiwi 64 was. Like, it doesn't even have interactable characters besides that dog, which is really unfortunate because Kiwi 64 had these moments where you would interact with the characters just like you would in Banjo-Kazooie, and if you solved their problems, then they would help you out. So I feel like the only redeeming things about this game are the jumping controls and the price. Now, this is only $1 on the eShop, and I saved up enough gold points so that I could get it for free. And I feel like for free, I definitely could have gotten worse, although Deltarune's first 2 chapters are free, and I felt like I got way more enjoyment out of those. So just because something's free doesn't mean it has to be bad. But this game, I feel like if it's a testing ground and a way for the creator to get enough funds to make Super Kiwi 64 as grand as it could be, that would be the only reason I'd suggest that you buy this. Unless if you can get Jumping Joe and Friends on sale, because that's also a vertically scrolling platformer, but it moves much faster and solves pretty much all of the issues from this game. So with that, thank you very much for watching. Let me know down in the comment section what you think and if you need anything clarified. I'm sorry if I spoiled too much of this game for you guys, but it is honestly insanely short and would be very hard not to spoil because you could probably beat this game in 15 or 20 minutes if you're good at platforming. I'd like to thank my patrons, Matthew Rakowski, Sploon Ghost, and Splatcat. Matthew Rakowski actually just sent me a copy of Nier Automata, the End of Yorha edition for the Switch, and so I'm really thankful to him for that. So my patrons help out not only financially, but also in my gaming life as well. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful day, and until the next time, keep the faith, stay epic, and God bless. Bye!